coming right there.
All right, gents, welcome back to Tactical Rifleman. You see we still have the panel of woe sitting here. We have got Amber and Ryan from Fit to Fight, and then I got freaking Frack over here. All right, we're gonna get back to our list. All you subscribers, listeners, watchers, and other out there, you guys have sent in, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 pages of questions. Some of them are awesome, others not so much. All right, but we've got a good one here. We're going to start out. I'm not even going to call this a good one. What's everyone's EDC, everyday carry, and why? I'd like to contrast and compare. You want to start with Emery?
Well, what is an everyday carry?
Everyday carry.
Can we start by blowing the whole everyday carry idea a little bit out of the water?
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
So lately, at least, we've been using the term everyday covered. So everyday carry kind of gives this connotation that every single day you're going to carry the exact same stuff. And the reality is, if one day I'm going hiking and then a different day I'm at a water park with my kids, we're going to have very different carries. Mm-hmm. So the idea that every day you're going to carry the exact same stuff is a little bit of a misnomer and a little bit misguided. That said, we flew here. We flew here. I don't have a knife on me. I don't have a gun on me. I have to have something TSA approved, so I have a giant thing of sewing needles in my backpack. Don't know how to sew, crochet. I don't really know what they are, but I know they're TSA approved, and if I had to stab somebody, I could do it.
My daughter
I'm not sure what to do with it, but I got it.
It's like a spike to kill a vampire.
That's legitimate, because I've never heard of people taking the big sewing crochet needles, the big monster needles.
That's yeah.
They're aluminum,
They're
huh?
huge.
Nice. Nice. All right. Anything else?
Honestly, in terms of things I always have on me, there's a tourniquet somewhere. Whether I am dancing at a club or water park or hiking, tourniquet.
Does the tourniquet fall out on the brass pole? Or I'm just asking.
What are you implying?
What did I say?
You said dancing.
What club? It's for college.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It doesn't matter what happens with a tourniquet.
If Fit to Fight hits 100,000 subscribers, I'll tell you where it comes from.
There you go.
There you go. It's a goal. Let's do that. All right, Ryan, you're up, dude.
I really can't
You can't follow that.
When you're dancing in the
you
club.
carry the pole.
Yeah.
I don't get to get up on the pole. You don't have to. Dude.
I fight because I can't sing or dance. That's. I mean, I carry normally. I have a fixed blade. I have a Glock 43 or a 19. I carry a tourniquet and a light, and that's pretty standard.
Okay. You guys know who I am. You guys know I'm mental. All right. I carry pistol.
Do we have time for all
with
this?
a light? No, I'm serious, because whether you've got just a laser on it, or whether you're running just a light on it, or whether you're running both on it, it doesn't really matter. I like tritium sights because I believe for sure worst gunfight of your life is going to be worst case scenario. It's going to be in the dark, whether it's a movie theater or whatever. 95% of our combat ops were in the dark pretty well.
Yeah.
Right? So all my guns have lights on them. Just like them, when I fly, I can't carry that. I wouldn't have an extra mag. You could carry 2 knives when you're in New York City. You can't carry a pistol, but you can carry knives. You just got to switch your belt clips from one side to the other. Now, I like what she said about always carrying a tourniquet. I like what people say about always carrying a light, always carrying this, always carrying that. More important than what I have in my pockets, which is my my mask. It's got Tactical Rifleman on it, and my chapstick.
This will protect you from everything.
You guys think I'm joking. You gotta have chapstick. She thinks I'm joking.
No, it's
Oh, get out of
Chapstick
here.
for? To put over the light on your pistol so you don't get carbon buildup. Hello. And then you've got to have your mask. Guys, we could go medieval here. Trust me, you don't want to do a pocket dump with me. All right. I'm just giving you all a hard time. She's absolutely correct. What matters more importantly is be armed up here. Okay, you could carry a full-blown IFAC in the sexy little internet ankle wraps on both ankles, have another one in the small of your back, and then do, I don't care if you do cavity packing with extra medical gear. It doesn't matter if you've got $100,000 worth of medical gear if you don't know how to use it, right? Having a tourniquet with a good windlass, 2 inches wide, a good TCCC approved tourniquet, that's important.
Knowing how to use it.
But know how to use it, but also know what makes that tourniquet correct. Why is the soft T wide approved? Why is the Cat 7 approved? And here's why it's important to know why, because whether you've got one patient and she has a tourniquet, or she's got 3 patients and she's only got one, or whether we forgot to bring them because we're at the beach, what's more important is that you know what makes that tourniquet correct, and then you can replicate it, improvise, just like she said on the airplane. She can't bring his fixed blade knife, but she could bring those crochet needles. Be creative with improvised weapons, right? But back to the tourniquet, you can, why would I take off my belt to use as a tourniquet in the mall when I'm standing right out front of Dillard's and there's a rack of $100 silk scarves there, right? See what I'm getting at? So know what makes a tourniquet correct, know how to replicate it, right? But improvised weapons, that's by definition anything. You are improvising. So can you bring stuff, set yourself up for success? Yes, by all means. Crochet needles, that is brilliant. I'm so going to add that to a class. Oh my God. But simple things like 2 padlocks and some chain. You say you're going to use it for your bike. I ride a bike. I've got to secure my bike. That's legit by TSA. Just make sure the chain's about long enough so the second padlock will only make it to your elbow. I guarantee you, first time you hit that rubber mannequin in the dojo, that other padlock is coming back and it's going to catch you right where the scar is above the hairline there. But improvise weapons, but be armed with skills, combative skills, more important, situational awareness, so that you can avoid all of this.
Which we will get into.
But medical skills, guys, I would rather, think about it, at a mall, active shooter in the mall, which do I need more? 50 people with firearms, or do I need 50 people that know how to stop bleeding? Because like the active shooter at that hotel in Las Vegas at the country music concert there, we all got to watch that firsthand because everybody had their cell phones out holding their hand. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. There are 5 paramedics there, that whole place. Can you imagine if just 20 more people had taken a TCCC class? Think about how many more people we could have saved.
And in that particular instance, they really couldn't do anything effectively if they had weapons, because
you weren't going to shoot a pistol.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell where the threat was really at.
What about you in your pockets? Z, you first. What do you got
Me?
in your pocket?
I took it out for this.
See me, I got that.
That is, that's not a 12 gauge shotgun. That is just happy to see. I carry, basically I carry my pistol. I don't carry an extra mag. Usually if I do, I put it in my pocket. Biggest thing is always my pistol. I always got a knife, not just for fighting people, but I open things and whatever. And then besides that stuff, I'm much of the mindset of what Amber was talking to. Like I got like a man purse, really. It's a fanny pack that my wife got me from Victoria's Secret. I like Victoria's Secret. I get free stuff sometimes from them. It's pink. It's the version pink, but it's blue. Right? It's Victoria's Secret pink, which is their...
There's a very small percentage of people right now
That's their athletic.
watching this who know what
Well, you need to look it up. I'm enlightening you.
I'm
You're
here to
welcome.
learn.
Yeah, I got you, brother. Hey, if you get a woman with free stuff from Victoria's Secret, learn how to utilize it. I utilize what I have, improvised things. But I got a fanny pack.
As a face mask.
It's like, hey, maybe.
I'm going to leave that one.
That's a good idea too. It's like sewing needles and thong. I just realized that. But so the fanny pack is this. I got a fanny pack. I keep it in the car. Wherever I go, I take it. Not necessarily on my person, but I have access to it wherever I go. So what's in that is there's things that are convenience items that help me with a day-to-day job. Just, I got a lighter in there. I got some pens and I got some gum potentially, things like that. everyday type stuff, that more likely situations I find myself in. And then there's worst case scenario stuff, kind of like one big thing that I'm really an advocate of, and I'm teaching security guards at churches and stuff like this. We start to think about this more, is a vest, a high visibility vest that says security on it, or something of the like, depending on your who you are or what you're doing. If I do find myself in those situations, say protecting my church, and there was an active killer or a threat, and I had to pull my gun or do something to protect someone, once the law enforcement or first responders get there, I don't want them mistaking me as the bad guy. And maybe I'm tunnel vision at that point, and I'm thinking about protecting those and myself, and I'm not thinking that who's going to see me and think that I'm the bad guy with the gun. So that's something I advocate for, something that discriminates you from the bad guys that may be in the situation, right? Hey, look at me, don't shoot me. Yep. Because as we know, when you're scared, a cop can get scared too. Trained personnel get scared. If I come in and you got a gun and I'm already anticipating that I'm about to die, like, hey, you got a gun, I'm shooting you, and it's happened before. It was that kid in Walmart got shot with a BB gun one time, I think, but that, and then in there, tourniquets, flashlights, extra batteries. I even got some Advil in that thing, just a couple things, as much like a purse like my wife would have, a lot of extra shit. And if I go into a situation where I think I might need any or all of that, I just strap that thing on and carry it with me, or wear it like a fanny pack or whatever. If I feel like I'm in a situation where I might need just one or two items because of that environment, then I just pick and choose what I want to take and I put it on me. And it goes along with what I'm wearing too. I wear basketball shorts sometimes. That's just me. Like, I wear this, and sometimes I have a belt. Belt is obviously good for carrying things on, but sometimes I just jump in my daughter's like, let's go to Walmart and get a tie-dye kit for these shirts. This happened. And I'm like, I throw the stuff on and I got flip-flops on, and I'm like, I ain't getting in all this shit, but I do have my gun and I have my knife and my wallet and my things that I have all the time on me. But I just don't give a shit about the likelihood in my head for that something's gonna happen is like, whatever. But do I have something for one of the most catastrophic instances? Yes. Do I have something for the most likely scenario? Yes. So let's keep that. Yep. The biggest thing, and like Carl alluded to, is what do I have up here? What am I using? Am I even thinking about that stuff? So if I've never exposed myself to any concepts or strategies involved with protecting yourself, or in a life-threatening or even just a scary situation whatsoever, then don't matter what tools I have anyway. So, I mean, do you know how to address someone coming up to you and trying to get money that's getting into your bubble? Can you not just freeze in that moment and err on the side of being, as Ryan was just mentioning when we were talking, being that southern hospitality aspect of just being nice to everybody and assuming that they don't mean any harm? Or can you say, hey, bro, you're getting too close, I don't know you, so chill. It's not being rude, it's just, it is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So up here, training and preparing mentally for these things is what really counts. The everyday carry stuff, that's just tools that will help you in those moments. That being said, do I think everybody should carry some shit? And you mentioned this. If you're not capable of using any of those tools and you haven't trained, you don't need to fucking carry it around, right? Yeah. If you don't think you'll be likely to jump into a situation and run to the sound of gunfire and run to help others because you're not comfortable in that situation, then you won't need that stuff. Me, I feel like it's my responsibility as a father, a husband, and a former soldier and a person that teaches this type of stuff. I feel like it's my responsibility to be an asset in those moments if I'm not going to cause more problems than there already are. So if I have that ability, why wouldn't I be ready to use that to help my community or those around me in my environment? So to me, it's a responsibility. For you, maybe it's not your responsibility. Maybe it's your responsibility to save yourself and yours. Mm-hmm. And that's what number one priority is anyway. Survive first, and then see how you can help.
Well, let's put it in terms of mission set, right?
Yeah.
Because that's our language. What's your mission set? If I'm in the mall with my kids, I don't have any kids. If I'm in the mall with my kids, my mission set is getting them out, right? That's why I don't have any kids. I can be that idiot. But if I'm really scared, I'm carrying a Z, right?
In your backpack?
And then the pack,
What's your EDC? What do you carry every day?
What do I carry? You're making me do this. No, I
made him put the Desert Eagle down. I made him put it down.
No, honestly, I carry a Glock Everybody out there listen to this, because you know I don't like Glock. Here's why I carry a Glock. If I gotta plug somebody because they're being a dick, cops can keep it. They can keep
So you don't
it.
mind giving it away?
Yep.
The Desert Eagle, I don't want to lose that.
That's something to consider.
What do you
No,
mind?
look,
What you mind
I
losing?
don't have anything terribly intelligent to add, because what you guys have said is 100% it.
Well,
It's 100%.
That's the best line of the entire video right there.
What I will say though is,
Oh my God.
I'll put it in yet another context, which is actually where Amber started it, right? I do a lot of traveling. When I'm in the land of the free, yeah, I got a gun, yeah, I got knives. I'm a knife guy. I got all kinds of crap on me. I bodyguard internationally sometimes. And if I'm doing an EP gig and I'm flying all over the place, I got a pen and a flashlight. I got a steel pen and a flashlight. And you deal with what you got. And if I don't have that, I'll grab something around me and bludgeon somebody to death with that.
He's carrying it up here.
Yeah, but your mission set is what's important, right? If you're doing EP, your mission set is not going off and killing the terrorists. Your mission set is keeping your guy safe and uninjured, right? So that's where you have to have your plan, and you have to keep that in your mind. Just because something's there doesn't mean that's where I have to go now in order to accomplish my mission.
And that kind of goes into our next question. Concerning situational awareness, are there any exercises or games besides Kim game you recommend that help train one's brain to improve situational awareness? Because you guys know what Kim's games is. Kim stands for
Keep in memory the way we're taught it,
Keep
right?
in memory.
Sniper school.
It basically goes back to World War II. They were running a source that was a child, and they would have him go in behind enemy lines and come back and report information. His name was Kim, and to help him remember better, they would actually run little games for this child and show him things on a table, cover it back up with a blanket, and then he had to remember, write down what they were. They was called Kim's games. People do them more for teaching people to increase their memory. So it's not so much something to help you for situational awareness. One thing we do for situational awareness is, like everybody was hinting at, is you have to be situationally aware. And you mentioned make that a game, because the reality is you're trying to get people to practice it, is make it fun. And if you watch Z walk into a restaurant with his family, he automatically will sit somewhere with his seat facing the door. That's just how Z is. Now, when that perpetrator comes in, they're there to rob the place. They didn't come in to assassinate Z. So wherever he's at in the restaurant, Z has time to execute his plan. His plan may be not save the day. All he's responsible for is get his family out of the restaurant. That may be as simple as going out the side door. All he has to do is execute the plan. He has the plan. But that's the key, execute a plan. So that would be the biggest thing for me to tell everybody for situational awareness, to teach people and make it fun, is say, hey, if something was to happen right now, what would you do? And you could say, well, they're sitting on the park bench. If something was to happen right now, what would you do? And then a little later on, when they're in the restaurant, if something was to happen right now, what would you do? And if you make it a game, make it fun, you say, compare what Ryan would do versus what Emery would do, because it would involve racking a gold-plated 1911 with his teeth. It's fun, it's entertaining, but what you'll find is people will it'll start clicking in their brains, that it becomes muscle memory. They start thinking, well, what would I do if something was to happen right now? What could I tell Emery? Even though Emery's not there with them, they start developing a plan. And it will, when you start thinking like that, staying in the yellow, staying situationally aware, it will change the way you dress. It'll change the way you act. Right? You won't sit with your back to the door anymore. Not because the seat's not more comfortable, not because it allows you to see the waitress station better with the skirts. No, you're doing it because it's situational awareness. I can't run in flip-flops. I can't. So you won't ever see me wearing flip-flops at the mall. You won't, because my job is, my wife knows when she hears a gunfire, she knows I'm getting her to the exit as fast as possible. She knows I'm not going with her. But like Z said, that's just how I am wired, right? So
I actually
make it
have,
fun.
I have a whole story. I won't tell it now, but I have a whole story on why I don't wear flip-flops, and it's exactly that. Because I've been there, and I will never again burn my feet on the hot asphalt in the Middle East chasing down some assholes because the flip-flops get tangled up.
It's hard to run from the police too.
Well, I mean, for us, and it's exactly what you were just talking about. It's almost preemptive. It's controlling variables. You know, it's not necessarily, oh, I see a thing. It's, well, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to park here. I'm going to remember where I parked. You know, I'm going to put this person on this side of me. We're going to have a plan before we even leave. If I say this thing, you know, go to the truck. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to handle things. So it's more how you dress, you know, all those kinds of controlling as many variables as you can, because you don't get to pick the day or the time of the day or how many there are or how they're armed or if they're armed or, you know, if you just finished a hard ass workout and now you're tired, you know, you don't get to pick any of that stuff. But controlling as many variables as you can, you know, the things that are within your control, how you dress, where you park, all those kinds of things.
So that brings me to a concept that many don't recognize is, and I mention it in any type of training we talk about. We kind of hit on it earlier, talking about the subconscious implementation of skills, so your conscious can be focused on what's important right now. Developing systems that control variables is a good way to do that, right? So not being a Nazi with, you know, your kids and all this stuff. Obviously you don't want to, you know, sometimes if you have kids out there or a dog, you can just nag them to death and it does the opposite for you, right? So they start not wanting to do exactly what you want them to do. They want to do the opposite. So making it fun, not so much a Nazi thing, but just tell them, reiterate the systems in a positive reinforcement way. And one of my systems at home is, I guess you could call it a game, but I just tell them, remind them from point A to point B, wherever that might be, pay attention to where you're going at that point. Put the phone down from point A to point B. A good example of a dilemma there is in Walmart, say, shopping. Anytime I go to Walmart, if I'm not with my wife already, I usually have to text her or she texts me something that one of us forgot, right? Or I got to clarify before I check out, yada, yada, right? So essentially I'm in a pretty active environment, a lot of things going on, a lot of variables that could be in play there. Well, what I do is I just minimize my exposure in those variables. I first off get the hell out of people's way that are trying to walk by, and then I just kind of get up against something where I can just, my attention is not required in every direction, just in one direction, much like being in a corner kind of, and check my phone, do what I need to do, and then once I'm done with that, commit to the next step in my process of shopping, which is point A to point B, move from here to that aisle, find that thing, and then I can return back to taking my attention away from my environment. Same thing, my kids have a problem, and I mentioned to you guys earlier, walking to the car, like, or doing the dishes. They all have to rotate doing the dishes, and they try to multitask everything, and I think that's the culture we live in now, because we have so much available to us and we can do it. But don't be under the illusion that if you multitask, something has to give. The quality of some part of the task that you are doing will give. So if I try to multitask everything, it's going to be diluted. You're not going to be able to do every task to the quality level that you may intended to do it in. So doing the dishes, the dishes won't be done right. Something will be left out because they're looking at their phone. So point A to point B, anytime that task requires more attention than what you can give it when you're multitasking, give it that attention. Build that into a system. All of us are pulled away from that, I think. We're all human. Like sometimes I want to do multiple things. It's efficient, right? Or I just can't pull myself away from the information I'm getting while I'm moving or whatever. That's why I got to build a system. I got to build it into my head and remind myself, hey man, put that down, you know, chill. A good example for everybody that everybody can relate to is driving. When I go to drive on a highway where there's not many cars around me, say late at night, and you're going high speeds and you think highway may be more risk, but when you're away from other drivers, usually there's less risk. So that's the time that I can take the time and adjust the radio if I need to, or hit the phone call button to do my handless, is it hands-free driving or whatever. But when you're in traffic, that's when you say, hey, stop all that shit, start paying attention to what's around you, because there's so many variables that you can't control in those other drivers in tight traffic on smaller roads, right? So I'm sure everybody's been there. When do you decide to adjust your radio? You should be paying attention when you're in heavy traffic and there's a lot of variables around you. Do the same thing in life when you're trying to be situationally aware.
One more idea, and it's a little bit less involved, especially if this is something new to you, less involved than, okay, what's your plan if this happens? It can be as simple as, okay, what if we can't go out the same door we came in? And especially if you're frequenting certain areas, you should have an idea of what the layout looks like, where there are alternative exits. Yeah, as a game. Cool. So, and especially for young kids, right? They might not have a plan and, John Wick in their head, flipping over tables, whatever. But hey, we came in that door. If we can't get out, and it could be fire. You don't have to say somebody's coming in to shoot you. It could be there's a fire or there's something blocking it. How could we get out? And now they have to pay more attention to their surroundings and try to figure out other doors. And that's a good opportunity to talk to them about, okay, if you're in a restaurant, they get deliveries, right? Well, where do you think the deliveries go when they get their food? Oh, to the kitchen. Okay, so there's probably something, and so now you can start expanding. You can start kind of expanding their world a little bit, not just from, okay, well, we went in this door, so we go out this door, but there are other alternatives.
Getting the gears turning.
Yeah.
Make them think. No, awesome stuff.
Or just YouTube it and watch a video about it.
That's what they'll tell you to do.
Yeah. I think that's enough for this video. I think we hit a couple decent ones there and trampled them completely to death. All right, so
that's what we do.
No, but we're not done. I got 7 more pages of this stuff and more to come. So again, I want to thank Fit to Fight for hanging out with us. And right now they're over here going, but that's all right. We will see you guys in our next video in this whole saga, better known as Dirty Joe. All right, we'll see you all next time. Shoot straight. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.